Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today, we'll be talking something very important, and it's about what Sh0ck said about, I think he has black kids or something, and he actually came out to say that he's not raising black kids, that he's raising black men, and whether you are black, white, and all that, whatever you put your mind in, you are going to achieve it. And there is nothing like, being raised, and that there is something like being a good man, and being a man of integrity and all that, not just like, whether you're a black person or a white person, being out there for people, being a good man and a man of reputation and the rest of that. Being a man of reputation got nothing to do with skin color and all that. But I think this is really, I do not blame him, or I am not trying to be negative, but I think it's time we start telling people, especially when you are raising black kids, I think it's better we tell them the truth, tell them they are going to experience as black kids or something, because you all already know the stereotype that comes with being black and all that. So when you raise those kids without even telling them some of the things that they are going to experience, being put over by the cops, profile and all that, then in the end, all these are going to be the things the kids will go to therapy to unpack. Tell them the truth so they know how to maneuver this world. Let's get into this video.
I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children. I'm not raising black men. I'm raising men. And whether you are black or you are white, no matter what race that you are, there are certain things about being a man and being a good man when it comes to character and integrity and safeguarding the helpless and sticking up for those who need it, and being a good man of reputation. None of that has to do with skin color. Everything has to do with the character of the man. And like I said, it's probably probably not an answer that some people would say is important, but that's where the world has gone, where we think that the most important thing about us is our skin color or our gender or our sex or our political affiliation or all these different identity politics or the identities that we put on each other, when really we're just human beings on this earth. And there are certain things about being a good person that transcend skin color and age and sex and religion and all of those different things.
I love that answer.
Yeah, it's hard. But it's what I feel too. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying but it's me. It's uniquely, that's how I feel about it. So
have you had any tough questions as of yet from your 7-year-old?
Yeah, there's questions about skin color, obviously, because it makes a lot of sense, right? It's like whether, and just a call to action for men, right? We grew up on cowboys and Indians and G.I. Joes and superheroes and stuff. And we all want to feel like a superhero, right? As the male gene, we want to feel like a superhero. And we are a superhero to our children, right? We are a superhero to our children. We are a godlike figure to our children. And we get that opportunity with each and every one of our children that we have. And it doesn't matter where you're at on the socioeconomic ladder or what you have accomplished or who you are a superhero to them. So yes, when my son sees me and he sees me like a superhero, and he can even watch me on TV, and his kids at school say, your dad's going to beat up Conor McGregor. And so I'm like a superhero to him, yet he knows he can't be exactly like me because of skin color, right? I'm sure in his 7-year-old brain, which really he'll understand, someday when he's a little bit older, right? So there's the skin color, difference, obviously. How
do you handle that? I mean, with one-on-one with him?
I think one-on-one, I think it's the beauty of being a man of faith is we were called for a time and a family such as this. This is exactly how God created us to be. This is exactly how my family unit was supposed to be. Before I was even born, this is exactly how it was supposed to be. Before you were even born, he knew that you were chosen for me and mommy. And he knew that you were going to have your skin color, and he knew that I was going to have my skin color. And if there's beauty in that, and it's unique to a lot of people. It might be foreign to some people, but is absolutely beautifully God ordained. And it's something that is going to be a part of our testimony. It's something that is making impacts through a butterfly effect that we don't even understand yet. Whether it be people that see me from afar, people that see the way that I love you, the differences that we do have compared to if we did have the exact same skin color and the exact same eyes and the exact same hair. This is exactly the way God created you, and you were created in God's image, and you were created for so much more than you can ever think or imagine. And God has commissioned me and chosen me to be your dad. And the most important thing that I can be is your dad. And I tell him every single night, I whisper it into his ear, and he probably gets tired of hearing it, but I thank him. I'm like, I thank you so much for being my son, and I'm so proud to be your dad. And I just think I didn't get that as much when I was a kid. My parents loved me so much, but they didn't really make me feel like I could run through that wall. They didn't really make me feel like I could go across those county lines and go anywhere across the world and do anything I want to. And I want my children to unlock something inside of themselves to make them believe that they can do anything. And I pray that prayer over them every single night. You are Hap Chandler. You are Ace Chandler. When you walk into a room, people take notice. When you speak, people listen. When you walk in a certain direction, people will follow. You are a child of God. You are the head, not the tail. You are above and not beneath. And you are chosen for a time such as this. And I am so proud to be your father. And the best thing that we can do is pour into these kids, because if I could be a superhero to him, but somehow that superhero believes in him more than the superhero believes in himself, then what can't he accomplish, And it's so much bigger and so much deeper and so much more impactful than our differences, our skin color, the things that are different about us, because we're so much more the same than we are different. Man, I'm raising men.
As sentimental as it may be, that your fact that you're giving an open door to a child, whether it's a he or she, but here's the thing. If you're a Caucasian male or a Caucasian woman, and you so happen to raise children outside of the race, you have to understand the child's culture. The child cannot just only adapt to the culture that you put he or she in the environment, because there's going to be some kind of friction towards that dynamic, believe it or not. I remember a famous football player. I think he resigned his position, and he started talking about his foster parents. His foster parents did not understand his ethnicity with his hair. And he showed a storyline that he had to go somewhere, which is a beautician, and the beautician had to basically give him a list of things to do for his hair product, for grooming his hair, and also doing his hair. Those type of things his foster parents did not know, okay? And when you're dealing with a child with any type of ethnicity, it's always good to learn the foundations of where the child originally came from, especially with their race, okay? You can't just leave that out, okay? So that means that you're not really fully raising the child. You're making the child brought up into your environment, your development. And honestly, that's not good. I never understand how Caucasian people, or even any type of race, especially Caucasian people, because I've been seeing a lot of them adopting children from Africa and even Black America and so forth. And you think that you're opening the doors with the home. But when you open the doors to that child, you have to see what that child is a part of. And you also have to understand what he's a part of. You cannot erase that apart, okay? Because eventually that child's going to ask you, where am I from? Who am I? I'm in a white predominantly area, and I see that I don't see people of my own. And I need to know what my own fraction is, okay? So it's not a one-sided thing. It's a two-sided thing, and it's a multiple sides. The sexual orientation of him being a male or female, or another thing is the race. And the race is the number one factor, because they say it takes a village to raise a child, and in that village, that child has to understand everybody in that village, and that village is a part of the village. So if you want to be a part of that child, you have to understand the village of where that child come from. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. You know, like I said, the people that creates these podcasts and the things that come out of people's mouth, I understand we live in a free country and there's no filter with some people, but this is the umpteenth time I've been hearing either a racial stereotype, a racial profiling, or somebody just saying something out of context and not really thinking. You know, because sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. But literally, I have been seeing people on this app putting their foot in their mouth. I'm not perfect, because I do make mistakes, but I see some people when they say things, and I always question why, when I see the dynamic of people in higher stature or even middle class stature, how they're raising a child that's outside of their race, when they could have raised the children within their race. And what is the dynamic of that? What's the understanding of that? Because there's certain things that other race cannot face or fathom or even educate, especially if it's a black child, a black American child, or even a indigenous child or whoever, but I'm preferring a black child.
Person of good character, good ethics, good morals, good values have absolutely nothing to do with how the world will treat your child of color. Because those are none of the things that they see. What they see on sight is that your child is a child of color. And the world is brutal when it comes to our children of color. So you would rather the world teach him what it means to be a person of color than you teach him and prepare him. He can have all of the qualities that you discuss, but he should also have the wits and the smarts of how to move through this world because of the melanation in his skin. You do a disservice to your child and to his children. You're not breaking a curse, you're creating one.
So this is all I got from this video, and let me start by saying I don't want to be negative here, but then I will get there. I appreciate him trying to be positive about raising his kids or raising a black child and trying to be a blessing, or trying to, like, you know, tell him that you can do whatever you put your mind on and the rest of it. That is absolutely beautiful. Or trying to bring Christianity into him. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, teaching the children and also trying to let them know that God is, you know, all that. That is absolutely beautiful. But can we talk, like, let's talk about the real thing. I love theory, you know, in the sense that we can teach our kids to be good people, to tell them that, you know, they can do whatever they put their mind, and that no matter how, like, you know, how hard they try, that they are not going to, you know, there is nothing wrong with that. But the reality is that the world we are living in is just a world where you have to tell people the truth. Because if you don't tell people the truth, eventually they are just going to keep dangling around and not know where they stand, or not, like, you know, miss their way out of it. And the reality is also, if you do not teach them the outside world, so the world does not start with you and end with you, right? So I think it's really cool. Parents should be transparent, especially when they are raising a black child or something. Be transparent with whatever you're telling that child. You don't have to hide some certain things because you are scared about how the world is going to perceive it or how the child is going to perceive it. In the end, if you don't teach that child that thing, you know, when they get outside, the world will teach them probably in a very hard way. And then they probably have resentment. Why did they not teach this to me, and all that? I see a lot of people telling him that he is doing a great job. I mean, don't listen to negative comments according to them, and like, you know, you are elevated and all that. Can we really, like, I know he is elevated, he is all that, but can we really, I mean, like, you know, be like, learn to be more open, especially when it comes to race, especially when it comes to the privileges or the disadvantages, I mean, like, you know, that surrounds a particular race, and, like, you know, stigmatization, the stereotype, and all that. We really have to be very transparent about it, because these are the things that when we do not talk, it gets black kids, like, you know, it hurts them, right? And then for the other people, it doesn't hurt them because they are trying so hard to protect their feelings and all that. And him also being a person of, being a pop-colored person and the like of it. I think he's just going to gaslight his child, you know, for years without knowing it. I mean, it's more like manipulation. For him, he's doing the right thing. He's trying to protect the child. But there are some certain things you do not protect, you know. You just tell them how to, like, you know, maneuver, and tell them this is bound to happen. You are going to experience this as a black person. You might be pulled over by the cops. You might even be stereotyped. You might even be called a criminal. If they see you where they are not supposed to see you, people might even call the cops on you. Tell them all this, because these are the things black people experience. So trying to hide all this from him, probably when he start experiencing it, he's just going to be like, how come I was not told this? But I was told that I can do more than I can. You know, you can push mountains, you can push the other thing and all that. That's why I have problem with some people that think it is okay to teach Christian education and all that, because they feel like, you know, God is there. I mean, like, you know, their foundation and all that. But then tell you that critical race theory hurts their feelings, or it's kind of violent and all that. So it's for whatever he has said, it really sounds so cool in theory, but that's not how the world works, you know. We need that practical aspect of it, and when someone is not delusion, the solution is like, you know, delusion is not solution to some certain cases, you know. He doesn't get it. He really needs to get it. He really needs to understand how it works for him to come out to say all this things. And please, I think he really needs to come out straight up, you know. Tell the child that there might be some stereotypes, or there is definitely going to be stereotypes and all that. Raise them right. Some people say color won't matter, but sincerely speaking, it does matter, you know. It really does matter, because if that man has his own child or whatever, and they have other kids out there, and you can see this person is green, you can see this person is blue, you can see this one is purple and all that. So when people say they don't see color, I mean that what they see is, it's just, you are joking. I hope the child does not talk about all this in therapy, because all these are the things some parents hide from their kids, and then when they get to therapy, you see them unpacking things that they never, like, you know, you probably didn't know that they were going through and all that. I am not big at trying to hide, especially things like this. It is not okay to hide it, to do all that, you know, from them. You cannot convince, the father cannot not even also convince the cops that, I mean, this is not a black man, or he's my son or something. First of all, when they see him, the profile comes straight up before any other thing and all that. When people say I don't see color, that statement is something I really do not take for granted, because I know they do see color. They're just trying to, like, you know, sound cool and sound okay, sound like, you know, they are not racist. And I am not saying he is, but I don't like it when people say that they don't see color. I think that is the biggest and the fattest lie anyone can, you know, tell and all that. And this is also the craziest take I've ever, like, you know, heard. I think people should put their, like, you know, if you have a black child and all that or something, put them in the right direction where they will get to know some certain things about themselves, their culture, the stereotype that comes with their skin color and all that. I mean, because some people even will have black kids, their hair is not well done, they don't know how to take care of them and the rest of it. So yeah, I hope he opens up to the child and tell the child everything the child needs to know. There is no need hiding any child or not hiding anything for the child. I love the fact that he is trying to be a good father, but there are some things don't keep away from the child, because in the end, it's probably going to be part of the therapy the child will be going for. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for the support, and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.